Hello, welcome to the Mom series, The Misunderstanding of Multiplicity. I hope everyone's doing well and happy summer. It's August 26th and um, it's almost fall, so I figured before it's fall I better come out and say happy summer to you all, so happy summer. And I'll probably be seeing you next time in the fall, so that's why I'm doing it now. There's going to be some changes to my channel, and I thought for those of you that have ever watched, I want to give big thank yous and tell you that I'm very honored by everybody who has ever graced this channel and given comment and shared your life with me in private discussions and friendship over the years. I wanted to let you know I'm going to be taking down a lot of videos and why I'm going to take it down. One, I feel like there's a lot of videos that are very overlapping and redundant, I guess, of content. And two, I don't feel they're current. I like to stay current, and there's some that we're following the United States of Terra and all of the examples as I use that as a conduit, some kind of vehicle to generate conversation each episode, and I followed it because what this channel focuses on, as a lot of you know, is multiplicity in the media. So I look for media examples of depictions of people with that were diagnosed with multiple personality or dissociative identity disorder, DID, in the media, and how we can generate conversation as to our own experiences out here, as to, debunk myths and get rid of the stigma and destigmatize it, take some of the fear and the sensationalism out of it. So in talk shows we see a lot of over-sensationalizing and dragging out the switching and looking at all the oddity of it. And in Lifetime TV we always see all the criminal and promiscuousness and conniving and just or mysterious, bizarre, spooky. And in sci-fi we see a lot of superpowers and all that, and in the TV miniseries drama, dark comedy drama, the United States of Terror, we saw an example of where two high-powered directors actually said, we're going to interview real people, we're going to sit down with real people, we're going to have specialized advisors on the set, and then we're going to talk to the experts, the pioneers, and we're going to have medical consultants also, and we're going to hope to bring humor to this topic and entertainment, but we're not going to do any harm. And a few seasons it ran off the rails, and it had ended in a very bad place, which I think piqued the interest of a lot of people again about DID, MPD, and what it was. And we saw then an onslaught of new things in the media and a ton of awareness groups everywhere, and it took off in the social media and all over YouTube. And when I first came out here, there were just a few people that were vlogging. Tommy Jameson was Sidians 3, and they were vlogging. So Here We Are was vlogging for a while. Most of the people deactivated their channel or left or went from one place to another, or would take down their channels for a while. I think there's only a few of us that have stayed true to keeping the channel up, and I'd have to say that Tommy Jameson, formerly Sidians 3, has stayed true to being to the continuity of her channel and the group, and staying out here a lot and blogging about it. We saw a lot of people coming out regularly from the UK, when Denise Greasley was alive. Her and her husband met Faced with Many Mirrors channel vlogged pretty much daily. But that cozy community kind of went away. And it became very much too big, I think, for my comfort zone. And I was encouraging people, everybody with your experience, come out, and that's great. And the broader the more examples, the more people will understand it. Unfortunately, it seems as though the more people come out and explain it, the more the stigma has returned, I think, and the more the well, I'm going to read from a book that explains it best, okay? I'm reading from Mary Pfeiffer. Mary Pfeiffer is a therapist who wrote Reviving Ophelia, and she wrote letters to a young therapist. And what she writes about is therapy and what she learned from being a therapist and being a very just laid-back therapist, not going with all the fad things, understanding it, but not going over the top with it. And I think she wrote it best. Let's read it really quick. Okay, she goes on to describe in the opening and her introduction of her first case study her first person that she had. She didn't take care of just DID patients, all kinds of patients. So she starts off with, in 1972, she saw one of her first clients in therapy. And she writes, "Since then I have seen all kinds of people. Hyperactive schoolboys, abused women, gifted students, gay dads, grieving widows, angry teenagers, adults who had committed various kinds of stupidity, psychopaths, people who were taking care of too many people, and families desperately trying to hold themselves together or wrench themselves apart. Over the last 30 years, I've watched a lot of pain flow under the bridge. By now I have a PhD in human suffering. I have listened to many cautionary tales and seen the way humans can hurt themselves and others. I have learned vicariously what mistakes not to make. I have witnessed the train wrecks that follow extramarital affairs. I haven't had to gamble or use drugs to keep secrets to realize that these behaviors are ultimately destructive. I have acquired a lifelong tuition-free education in the consequences of various choices. During most of my years in clinical practice, I worked 6 blocks from my home with my husband Jim and my good friend Jan. We created a small, is beautiful office. Our kids cleaned it until they left home, and then we cleaned it ourselves." I lost my place. Okay. "We did our own billing, scheduling, and our own appointments. Once a high-powered psychiatrist said to me, 'I'll have my people call your people.' I had to admit, I have no people. Over the decades, the work changed a great deal. New theories marched to center stage, then exited quickly. We therapists frothed our way through the ditzy 70s and almost destroyed ourselves in the 80s. I'm going to talk about that. The era of recovered memory work. We traveled from endless, unstructured sessions to goal-focused, short-term therapy. Family therapy, once our finest technique, has almost vanished. And yet, like Wordsmith, Wine's Dark Sea, therapy is always changing and always the same. I love the work. Sometimes people ask me, do you find it depressing listening to all the problems? I tell them, I am not listening to a problem, I am listening for solutions. Clients generally arrive when they want to make changes. They are paying for advice and are ready to listen. As a therapist, my experience is the unhappy clients becoming happier. That feuding couple starts to enjoy each other and that families settle down and work together. Not always, but usually after a few sessions, I begin to hear the stories of victories. In therapy, as in life, a point of view is everything. As a therapist, I am slightly detached from my clients' problems. I try to keep my eyes on the prize, which, while tailored for each client, is essentially the same. I want people to leave feeling calmer, kinder, and more optimistic. I want them to be more intentional in their choices, and in many cases, less impulsive in their appetites. Robert Frost wrote it best: education elevates trouble to a higher plane. So does psychotherapy. It is a way of exploring pain and confusion to produce meaning and hope. This book consists of lessons I've learned from the people I have worked with. Okay, so very good book, Mary Piper. Now I'm going to tell you something. My own therapist, I see in the pages of this book. A therapist that I worked with for years, who I haven't seen now in quite some time, but I have talked to on the phone over a while now, and we'll probably be touching base again. Very much the same kind of office practice, very that kind of thinking of, in the 80s, yeah, things got a little bit, and they almost destroyed themselves in the 80s because the recovered memory work was a problem for therapists. And what I see is the Trauma and Disassociation Project, the DID project, going out of their way to continue to prove DID exists and to prove what trauma is. And they're bringing out all the old war horses and dusty old books that the ISSTD made in the 80s. The very same stuff, the very same people that abandoned all the people they were taking care of for shame, for embarrassment, and for the many lawsuits that were being put against them. And now, again, because it was in the media, they are, rebuilding it again. And I'm going to be talking about, first of all, I'm going to be doing videos on Part Psychology by Jay Norks. I'm going to be doing videos on Saving Normal by Dr. Francis Allen. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Mary Piper's book, Letters to a Young Therapist. She also wrote Reviving Ophelia, by the way. I'm going to be talking about the Trauma and Disassociation DID project. Who is behind that project, who all these professionals and experts are, and the ISSTD's involvement. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about tools and management and how getting yourself to a functioning group work, and what you should look for in therapy, what to stay away from in therapy. I'm going to be concentrating on Robert Oxnam's video, latest interview, which I thought was great. I'm going to be talking about Carrie Ainsworth's finishing up her Mothers and the Troops book, Creature of Habit, Recovery for Emotional Wounds and Hope. That book's coming out, and I can't wait to get a look at it. I know Estrella's big website will have it up, and I believe JC Talkzone will have it up. There's just going to be tons of people that will be carrying that book. And a couple other books that I have set aside that I'm going to be reading from. I'm going to get back to the original goals and take a lot of the videos down, not only for me and to clear the channel, but for my children who asked me to. I'm going to be taking down all those videos that are overlapping, redundant, or have not had a lot of activity on them, or had too much personal information, and I'll leave up the other ones. If there's any videos that somebody really wants to see badly or whatever, again, I will have a private link that I can send you in the mail, and I hope to see you out here in the fall with a fresher, cleaner channel. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.